for my phone. It's really good quality. Better be for the amount of money I paid for it. I'm going to start recording next week and see what I can come up with. I need you now, Frank Cipher. Don't know what that's about, but luckily I'm ready to start the workday anyway. I drive over to pick up Frank. Same spot again?
You got it,
Frank said. Hey Frank, before I forget, your money never came through. Do you not have the funds?
Are you assuming I can't afford this ride?
He sounded offended, for sure. Now, I'm not assuming anything. Your transactions never went through, though, I told him.
Did you stop to think that maybe it's all on your end? You're literally relying on an app on your phone. They get updates all the time,
he replied. It makes sense, to be honest. I never put that into consideration. Then, he laid it on me. He let it all out. And I was not ready for what I saw, or for what I heard.
That is the problem with people like you. You assume the world works a certain way, like it revolves around you. Life keeps going, even when you die. Everyone just keeps going. They may stop and think about you, but they have their own lives to live. Yet, you're so concerned about everyone else that you assume is revolved around you. You're wasting your time. This city is wasting its time. People take the first chance they get that benefits them. Until you are hit by a 10-ton heavy thing that holds you down, you won't understand. You never will. Because once you have that strength built up to lift that thing off of you, you'll finally start to understand what life is about. You have 3 choices. 1, let the weight hit you and hold you down forever. 2, fight against all odds and lift that anger, despair, regret, pain, and loss off of you. Or 3, do nothing. Live life like a zombie. You'll be a living zombie, just like everyone else in this city.
Why do you even stick around? I asked.
Let me show you why I stick around, he said.
Frank started unraveling the bandages on his face, one by one. I could see him unrolling the white bandages off. He started with his chin, then his mouth. Except there was no mouth, no lips, no mustache, no beard, then no nose, no eyes, ears, no eyebrows, no holes on his face. All I saw was skin. I don't understand what I'm looking at. What happened, Frank? Why are you like that? I asked.
You don't get it yet, do you? It's because you're in denial. That is why I stay here in the city, Bryan. I'm you.
Wait a minute, like a clone? I asked.
No, you'll find out, eventually. Drop me off here, he said.
He got out. Before he closed the door, he said,
See you later, boss.
Then he walked off into the distance. Later that night, I hopped on my computer to check my Hitch account. There are 0 transactions with Frank Cipher. It showed everyone else, though. It even showed me active at the time. I went to check my security camera when I picked up Frank. Frank wasn't there. In fact, nobody was there. I was driving around. I was talking. I remember every moment. Was Frank a ghost? Or maybe he was telling the truth. Maybe he's me.
We attribute the success of it. Who can save mankind?
This is WRK5 coming at you with the hottest mainstream and low-budget horror entertainment that'll have you crying home to your mommy. I'm your terrifying host, Raven. Are you ready? It's my favorite time of the evening, the Creepy Pasta Radio Hour.
I was waiting at a bus stop, along with a mother and her child. The child cries out and the mother shushes the child. The child doesn't stop. It seems that it wants attention, but the mother just scorns. "Won't you hush, you nasty child?" It is just about noon, and the bus has picked us up. The child is babbling at the top of its lungs, laughing, babbling, and bouncing around. "Daddy will be home for dinner, my child. If you want your dinner, you need to quiet down, or you'll go to bed hungry." When the mother and child got off the bus, from the window, I heard the child run off, and the mother say, "May all the hornets from the nest come sting you, so you finally pipe down." All the child wanted to do was pick up the big brown leaf and show it to his mother. This reminds me of a story about the noonday witch. A mother warns her son to behave, or she will summon the noon witch. The noon witch is a folklore where a witch comes at noon and takes away misbehaved children. The witch doesn't look how you would think. Normally, witches are wicked women that fly on brooms and cast demonic spells. The noon witch, on the other hand, is not your typical wicked woman. No, she is a monster, standing 8 feet tall with a flat and elongated skull, her eyes with vertical pupils bulging out of her sockets, her jaw locked open with her forked tongue hanging out, scales on her decrepit hand with razor-sharp nails 2 inches long. The all-black wardrobe does, however, pertain to this witch. When the noon witch arrives, she is there to take the child. She will not leave empty-handed. One day, a mother, very similar to the mother at the bus stop, cursed her child. She cursed the noon witch to come. She wanted to scare her child straight. The sun rose at high noon. The handle moved at the front of the door. Mother went to see what was going on, and in came the witch snarling. What a vile creature. She demanded the misbehaved child and called it a cursed child. The only way the child could be cured of its curse is to go with the noon witch. The noon witch will then be his claimed mother and never to see his current mother again. The mother, terrified, never meant for this to happen. She thought that it was an old wives' tale. The mother scooped up the child into her arms and ran. She fled around the witch into the living area, down the hallway and into her bedroom. She slammed the door shut. She didn't know what she should do. The bedroom door did not have a lock. Instinctively, the mother held the child tight. The child crying, flailing and scared, the mother shielded the child away from the noon witch. 1 minute past noon, the witch leaves. Later that night, the husband comes home from a long day's work for dinner, family time, and relaxation. He finds the mother in bed and turns her over. She lays there cold and lifeless. He could still see the fear in her eyes. Out from underneath lays the child, smothered.
Today's episode on Hitch was written by Bryan Dussault. WRK5's radio DJ is Graham Roat. The Noon Witch, read by Hem Cleveland. Hitch is a fictional podcast. Any names or likeness that are similar to real-world ones are entirely coincidental.